Hey everybody, it's Ragdolls again, and welcome to another video. This time it's going to be a game review of Cuphead, which was released on the 29th. I played it first thing in the morning. It was released at 6 a.m. on the 29th, and I was one of the first to post a video to YouTube on its release. I was really excited. I got like no views, but whatever, and same with this one. It's not really the point. And yeah, it's a great game. So far, I'm really impressed with how awesome it is. I even decided to do a VentureBeat parody video on how terrible he was at this game. So in the tutorial, I purposely went back and decided to do it as horribly as possible. It's actually the easiest tutorial of any game I've ever played because it tells you exactly what you need to do. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing, the world. The overworld of the game is incredibly detailed. It looks exactly like an old-fashioned cartoon from the 1930s on to the 40s, and the better part is, I guess, everything's in color. But it's actually really intuitive, and it's laid out well enough that it's easy to navigate. You never really kind of get lost or hung up on anything, kind of, you know, like in Zelda or any other game where you have a kind of a top-down overworld. Oftentimes you can get hung up on certain invisible walls. This is very easy to do. What you will find is that you can't really traverse into both sides of the map on the first world or all of the worlds until you defeat the bosses. So that is the one caveat, but you can actually obtain or get to certain areas of the map ahead of time. Next thing is the level design. This is an incredibly difficult game. I think I misspoke in my live stream about it being easy because it really is easy at the very beginning of the game. When you do the first boss battle in Botanic Panic and the first actual level where you can collect coins, it's actually not too hard at all. I was actually really surprised that this game got such a difficult rating, or not difficult rating, but difficult review. It is incredibly difficult. I found myself, even during the boss battles, which are the hardest, I went up to upwards of like 30 tries just trying to defeat a boss. The first boss battle is very easy, and it does not paint a picture for the rest of the game. This level in particular is incredibly difficult. I had a hard time getting through it at the beginning, so it's more of kind of trial and error. That's how you're going to end up playing this game. Until you finally get used to how everything plays, there is going to be a lot of trial and error. You're not going to get it right the very first time unless you just are really lucky or you just happen to get the, you know, all of the right situations, especially during the boss battles, which I'll talk about here next. At the end of most levels, there is a mini boss, which is cool. Kind of adds a little bit of dexterity to each level, and you know, adds a goal at the end. When you finally make it towards the end and you die like I did here, it just gives you this boost of confidence. The game is incredibly addicting, and the level design plays a huge part in that. It's fun. There's so many great visuals. There's obstacles in each one, and this one right here in particular is bombarded with obstacles. And this is just the first world. Bear in mind, like I said, I've only played maybe 4 hours of this game. Most of that was spent during boss battles, but the actual gameplay is just incredibly difficult. So, last but not least are the boss battles. These are incredibly hard. Some appear easy at the beginning, like this particular boss right here. It's actually not hard at all. You might lose 1 hit point or 2, but then when you get to the final section where I'm just going to spoil it for those, when he dies the first time and turns into a headstone, that's where it actually gets kind of hard. The parrying in this game is honestly the parrying in this game pisses me off. Parrying is when you jump into the air and you slap an item, which is kind of like a double jump, but it's also kind of an attack in a sense. But you can only parry certain items, and they have to be the pink items or the fuchsia colored ones. It's not easy. You literally have to nail the item that you're trying to parry. It's not like you can kind of be in the general vicinity within, like, you know, in-game inches or millimeters on the screen. You literally have to be at the exact point. You have to find that sweet spot, and it almost changes with each item that you parry. The bosses are just so incredibly hard. This game really shines in difficulty during the boss battles. This one in particular took me 30 tries, like I had said. But it's a beautiful game, and I honestly have to say this is a recommended game that you need to pick up today. If you have heard about Cuphead but hadn't had the opportunity to play it, watching the gameplay is not going to give you the experience that you need. Playing it is everything, and it is a wonderful game. So be sure to check me out every day. This is Ragdolls. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I do lots of Let's Plays and gaming news. All right, have a good one.